All right, I'm going to give you 3 tips based off this pyramid of wealth. This is something I wish they had taught me in school, but everything you need to know about money pretty much is right here. There's 5 levels, and I'm going to show you these levels, and then I'm going to show you 3 ways that you can move up the pyramid of wealth. And remember, I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about living an abundant life, a life that you're doing the things you want to do. You don't feel the pressures that most people feel. You have free time. You have time to enjoy, create. Your social life is growing. Your bank account is growing. Your health is improving. All those things that everybody wants are based off this basic pyramid and the 3 ways, the 3 free tips I'm going to give you to move up. Well, the first one is debt. This is when you're behind. Most people in the world end up here. I ended up here. But if you pay attention to this video, in just the next few minutes, I'm going to show you that you don't have to stay here. Now, the level right above this isn't that much better either. The level right above this is scarcity. And it's interesting. I showed somebody this pyramid not too long ago, and they're like, Tai, you won't believe what happened in my life. I used to be making, she was a friend of mine, and she was working at a Korean restaurant here in Beverly Hills. And I think she was making 10 or 11 bucks an hour. And she started using these 3 principles that I'm about to give you. And she saw her life go up. She's making, she said, 65 bucks an hour doing what she likes. And she's getting twice the pay or more than twice the pay in half the time. So I'll show you how you can be a success story, hopefully. Now, I can't guarantee you're going to have the exact same success as hers, but I'll tell you this. I've shown this to millions of people, and every single day I'm bombarded with people saying, this changed my life, this changed my life, this changed my life. So pay attention. I'm not going to keep this video up for long. If you know me, I like to test lots of things. I like to find a group of people that's like-minded. So I'll put a video up like this, keep it up for a little while. So if you snooze, you lose. You might lose out on what I'm about to say. Debt and then scarcity. These 2 levels of the pyramid are where most people operate in all areas of their life. Health-wise, they're overweight, they're not feeling good. Wealth-wise, the average person comes out of college, tremendous amount of debt now. You see this all over the news. And then social life. People don't like their life, man. They don't like the people they're around. They're being around low-quality people. And then, of course, happiness. I read somewhere where like 20% of people are now on medication, and 30 to 50% of people are lonely, depressed, have anxiety attacks. And that's these 2 levels. Now, if you look at these financially, obviously debt is when you're 0, below 0. Scarcity, though, there was a Nobel Prize winning economist, Daniel Kahneman, who did research, I think it was at Princeton University. Him and his team found that scarcity is under $72,000 a year. You can Google it. There's a famous article. And most people are below that. Now, what I'm showing you today, these 3 tips, is not just about money, but it certainly needs to apply to money, because to get the good life, to get what you want, you're going to have health, wealth, love, and happiness all working in your favor. If you feel like you're here, I got good news and bad news. The good news is I've been in these stages, and there's a way out. You can recover. You can rise up. The bad news the billionaire Warren Buffett gave when he said, be careful of getting too far behind. Be careful of procrastinating and letting yourself stay here, because he says sometimes the chains of habit become, they're too weak to be felt until they're too strong to be broken. Meaning sometimes you're here and you're like, well, life's not going that well for me, but I'll recover. But he said they're like chains. You don't feel them at first. They're like addictions and habits, procrastination, not knowing how to motivate yourself, not really pushing yourself to your maximum potential. He said the next thing you know, those chains lock up and you can hardly get them off. And you see that financially. Sometimes you get too much in debt. You get too far behind. I saw this even in my family. Somebody who said, oh, tomorrow I'll learn to do this. So pay attention today. Life is always at a crossroads. I hope today will be a crossroads. You'll look back at some point in your life and say, I had enough pain, Now's the time to move above these. And what's above these is the third level in the pyramid. And this is what I call healthy stage. This is where you wake up, you feel good. You're not necessarily a millionaire, a billionaire. You're not necessarily, ripped and have a six-pack, but you feel the momentum starting to go in your direction. All right? You got to get here at the minimum. And then above this, there's prosperity. Prosperity is the level that not only are you doing well, you're feeling good, but you're getting ahead. Like in your bank account. Here is where you're paying all the bills. You don't have too much stress every day. The first of the month comes around. You're covered. You're good. You're healthy. Prosperity is when not only you're doing that, but you're starting to get ahead. Bank account's starting to go up. Body's starting to recover and feel better. Your social life, you're winning friends and influencing people. Your happiness. Not only do you feel good, but you feel amazing. And the last level here is what I call wealth and impact. And this is where you change the world. You see this with famous philanthropists and Bill Gates starting the Bill Gates Foundation and all that. At some point, you get so far ahead that you can have impact on the world. You can really change the world. And I'll tell you, my life at one point was a nightmare. And a lot of people see me now and they're like, okay, Tai, you've got this and that, and you've got cool cars and a cool lifestyle. And remember, it's not about that. It's not about who has the most money. It's not about who has the most Ferraris and Lamborghinis. Those are cool. I love having Ferraris and Lamborghinis, but I always keep my priorities straight. I want to have a good life. I want to have a life that feels like heaven on earth. I want to wake up every day and every day is optimized. I'm not waiting for a vacation. I'm not waiting, oh, thank God it's Friday. A lot of people, thank God it's Friday. Well, what about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? If you don't like those days, you don't like your life. And the reason that I always keep this in my mind is I remember when I was here and here. And I'll just tell you, I think today could be a big day for you. You're one of the few people that's getting to watch this video. This is the stuff that they should have taught us when we were in school, but they didn't. And there's lots of reasons the system failed us. And it failed you. I went to public school. I was born to a single mom. My dad was in prison when I was born. They didn't have much money. My grandma helped my mom out, luckily, so that I wasn't completely broke, but I didn't grow up in Beverly Hills here. And at one point in my life, I tried lots of different things, and I lost everything, basically. And I was sleeping on a couch, and I had $47 in my bank account. I was in Clayton, North Carolina, in a mobile home. And I remember laying on that couch and thinking, like, is that it? And the good news, at that point, of course, I had basically no money. I was right here. Unfortunately, I had to come to that place. Maybe you had that before, where you got to get some real pain around your life before you act. But I started, thank God, I took action. And I'm going to show you the 3 things now that I learned and the 3 things that I took action on that completely transformed my life and helped me start moving up. And so let me write the first one here. When I was laying on that couch, I started reaching out and finding mentors, and I started reading books. Maybe you've seen my TEDx talk where I talk about how I read a book a day. And I started to really implement these techniques. And what I learned from these mentors and these books and seminars and conferences and people who were living an amazing life way better than I was living at the time was, number one, you have to know your life's purpose. And so few people ever get to a place where they can confidently say, I know why I'm here. And if you are watching this and you're resonating, you're like, yeah, I understand that. I feel like I'm behind right now. Or maybe you feel like you're doing well, but you've plateaued and you're not going up as quickly as you should. Really begin to examine how well you know your life's purpose. You should be able to say it very quickly. And I had a mentor, Joel Salatin, and he was very clear what his life's purpose was. He was into organic farming, and he he was a Christian and he used to pray, and he would say his life's purpose was, you know, thank you God for letting me bring the gift of good food to people. Now you might when I was young and I heard him say that, I thought that was like funny, but now I realize that was him reiterating his life purpose. And everybody has a different one. You know, for him it was healthy food. And I had another mentor, and his was writing. He was a journalist, and he was teaching people. And that was his life's purpose, to be a teacher. And over again, you'll be able to find, if you know the techniques. Now, I'm going to keep moving through these three, but there's an exact way, and I'll show you a little bit later how you can figure out a simple formula that you'll know what your career should be, what kind of people you should be spending time with, how to know, you know, how to feel fulfilled. Because just a little note, it's not the same for everybody. And one of the things the school system lies to us about is just saying everybody's life's purpose is go to college, get a 9-to-5 job, get a house with 2 kids in the suburbs. And there's nothing wrong with those things, but it's not for everybody. And the better you can be at finding your specific, unique life purpose, the quicker you'll move up that pyramid of success and wealth. All right, the second thing here, let's see if I can fit all 3 of these on this board, is you have to know how to win friends and influence people. That was a famous book title, but it's true. One of the skills I wish I had learned growing up that they forgot to teach us is you have to have powerful social skills. You have to know how to find mentors. If you're starting a business, maybe you need to know how to find business partners, how to find investors. I did a TEDx talk about how I read a book a day, and I talked about the law of 33%, how you have to spend 33% of your life around people that are below you, meaning you can help them, 33% of your time around people that are on your level, right? Those are your friends. And then 33% of your time around mentors, around people who push you, around people that are 20 years ahead of where you want to be. And there's an old saying related to this, that your income in your life will be the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And so when I was laying on that couch and I wanted to move up this pyramid, that was one of the big breakthroughs. And I began to change my social circle. And right away, it's like amazing. It's somewhat remarkable how quickly implementing these into your life will start to change your life. Because this, of course, number 1, number 2, now I begin to couple and add them all together with number 3. Number 3, and again, something that you and I didn't learn growing up, what they should have taught us, what the system failed us on teaching us, was I began to understand what motivated me, how to overcome procrastination. And I'll tell you what, these things right here, I call procrastination the killer of hopes and dreams. If you've got big plans for your life and it's not working out like it wasn't working out for me, it usually comes here. Because what happens is you think, I'm going to work really hard, but then you can't motivate, then you put it off for another day and you begin to procrastinate. Well, what I began to learn to do was how to do half the work but get twice as much done. There's some simple techniques, and I'll talk about these a little bit later, that you can do where you become super efficient and you begin to work smarter. Because believe it or not, to move up that pyramid of success and wealth, it's not just about working harder, it's about working smarter. The hardest people, the hardest workers you'll ever meet aren't necessarily the people that are getting ahead. So you have to combine those 2 things. So as I begin to put this, all 3 of these, 1, 2, 3, my life began to transform. And I won't bore you with all the details, but I became an entrepreneur, started a business here, a business there. And next thing you know, my income started to go up. I remember when my income was at basically 0 or less than 0. I was going into debt. And there's this old saying, the more you learn, the more you earn. That's maybe a bonus point. Bonus point number 4. It's from Warren Buffett. And I began to buy courses, and I bought this online course. This is a while ago, over 10 years ago. And I bought this course, and I don't remember, it was all the money I had at the time. It was a course from a guy named Corey Rudel. And it was when the internet was starting to get big, and it was this page, I'll never forget it. And the page said, how I made, I think he said, $28,000 laying in my beach chair in Hawaii. And my first thought was to be cynical and go, this guy's lying. But I had learned from my mentors and changing the people that I've been around that you got to be optimistic if you want to win. You can't always look for the dark side, because if you only look for the dark side, sometimes that's all you'll find. And I got really excited and I bought it, and it was like all the money I had. It was like $500 to $1,000. I had made a little bit of money after I had $47 implementing this, and I took that first $500 or $1,000 and I bought a course. And I don't remember everything it said. I had to wait in the mail. It was before you could download videos. And I got this package, and it was a course, and it showed me how to do internet marketing stuff, Google AdWords. And to make a long story short, my income went up in about 6 to 12 months. It went to, I remember I had a pay stub from one company. I was a contractor doing different things, $70,000. And with the other things I was doing, I made about 100 grand. And I can't tell you how much my life changed. People say money's not important. Well, it's not the most important thing in the world. There's other things more important than money. But if you don't have any money, you'll never be able to, you'll never feel free. You never have options. I began to have options. I took a little vacation and I traveled and I started investing. I started going up that pyramid. And about 2 years ago, I started, I did this TEDx talk. I've always been an entrepreneur, kind of more behind the scenes, building businesses, but not really putting my face out there. About 2 years ago, I got asked to speak at this TEDx talk. And I did the TEDx talk, and it's now it's one of the most viewed TEDx talks of all time. And around that time, I did a little public speaking, and people started asking me, okay, these 3 secrets are great. What else did you learn? And I took a whiteboard at my house, and I started writing out all the principles I learned from mentors, from finding my life's purpose, for figuring out how to motivate myself and not procrastinate. And it turned out to be 300. And I remember thinking, because I have a lot of employees, and I was thinking, I'm going to teach these principles to my employees so they'll be more successful. And I'm also going to talk about these when I do public speaking. But you never have time to share 300 things. So I was a little concerned, like 300 is too much to remember. I couldn't even remember. I had to spend 3 or 4 days sitting in a chair remembering everything I'd learned from mentors and books and so on, and life experience. So luckily, somebody handed me, forget who it was, a little article. And it said, scientists in London, University College London, just discovered that to change your life, the average person needs 66 days. So I was like, that's interesting. And I told my cousin, maybe we should just cut down from 300 to 66. And then just one a day, I'll give my employees and people that I work with 1 tip a day for 66 days. And this scientific report says you can change your life and your habits and how your brain works in 66 days. And my cousin said, no, Tai, 66 sounds like 666, the sign of the number of the devil. So I said, all right, I'll add one more for good luck. So 67. And I took those 300 tips on the board that transformed my life, moved me up the pyramid, and I started recording videos. One simple video, until I got 67. And so many people have asked for it over the years. Now I have a very big social media following. Hundreds of millions of people have seen my stuff. And every day, people, literally, I get thousands of emails and direct messages on Insta and Snapchat and all this saying, hey, Tai, can you give me some tips? And so I decided to make a program. I said, you know what? I'm just going to package this all up, make a simple, quick and easy program that you can access on your phone or your computer, and I'll call it the 67 Steps. And so let me share a little bit about the 67 Steps and how I think it can change your life. So I created this simple 67 Steps program, and last year I released it to a small group, just like a test group, and it was interesting. Right away I started getting feedback from people that just amazing results that they were seeing in all areas of their life. Health, wealth, love, and happiness. People losing weight, people bank account going up, finding the career of their dreams, finding their life purpose, changing their social life, being happier. And the interesting thing wasn't like the test group was a group of geniuses. I let everyday ordinary people from all over the world use it, from all walks of life, young and old, and again, consistently. These principles worked for them. I actually hired a scientist, leading PhD in neuroscientist, Dr. Germán Garcia Fresco. He was published in all these top scientific journals, and this is what he said. I wrote it down here, printed it out. Now it works for me. He liked what we created here so much. He said, "This system has a real foundation in science. I did my due diligence. It's rather ingenious. They have analyzed scientific studies and used the latest cognitive research to develop a methodology that accelerates the success cycle, using the same framework that I have employed in my 20-year career in neuroscience. Although I'm not always comfortable realizing how some people might use these purely for materialistic endeavors, I'm impressed by their use of the scientific method and that they base their techniques on empirical research. I respect the granular detail and unbiased conclusions. I am sure that men and women of all ages and backgrounds who want to build a higher income and, more importantly, a well-rounded life of success would benefit immensely from this practical program. I want you to know that my team and I have created something really special for you. You can start learning in minutes from the comfort and privacy of your own home. All you really need is a phone or a laptop. You just watch the video training and you'll be all set. So there's no confusing exercises or mindless repetition. The 67-step concepts will be hardwired into your brain, and you'll be ready to use them before your next, bills are due. No matter how much or how little money you have now, how old you are, what you've tried before. Just try being part of this members-only group at any stage you might be in life, and you'll see how powerful it really is, and you can see for yourself. You can use it to quit your dead-end job. You can use it to get a promotion, where you already are, or you can finally turn that good idea that's been in the back of your mind for years into an actual real thing. That's one of the big things that happened in my life, being able to take ideas and make them reality. And since this program does not require you to invest your whole life savings, you don't have to put your hard-earned money at risk, okay? So this makes it perfect for you if you're just starting out and you don't have a lot of money. You can use it alone. You can try it together with a boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, best friend. You'll find when you can make money and become successful at anything you're interested in, you're going to be shocked at how passionate you become, how your life feels reignited. That's one of the things I was talking about with motivation in tip number 3. And this 67 steps system works like crazy for people with big dreams and also for people who have just given up hope, because these concepts are based on proven real-world techniques. So I don't want you to think this is just some book knowledge. I love books, but you're also going to learn real stuff. And you'll see it's going to compel the universe to give you what you deserve. You're going to use it to stand out from all the other people who live a status quo life, who struggle their whole life. You're going to have an unfair advantage. You're going to end up living the dream that everyone else fantasizes about. I always say, do what others won't, so you'll live the life that others want. And that's what this program is really about. Your friends are going to be jealous, but they'll give you respect. The stress of laying awake all night worrying about bills, that starts to go away and you start to get breakthroughs. Let me read you a couple other things. I've got here written just some testimonials that people have written in. This is from Leonie Fisher. She said, "Tai, I recently moved to LA, was stuck at a desk job, but now thanks to the 67 steps, I was able to quit my old job." And as simple as that sounds, for most people, they don't like their job, And she goes on, she says, "Wherever you are in life, you can benefit from the 67 steps. I know I'm a happier person because I